In this video today, we will explore our spirituality together. Being spiritual is the easiest way to live because it's who and what we are. The big secret is that we are the destination. We are what we're longing for. The treasure is already in our hands because we are the treasure. Hello, I'm Marvin Glenn, the Singing Sage. Just in case you're here with me for the very first time today, please hear these two statements before we begin. All of my videos are offered to you on the basis of the possibilities of what if. Because I am also always evolving and learning, I ask that you always and only depend on your own inner divine presence to verify my statements and stories before you accept anything I say as the truth. In other words, ignore your programmed mind and depend on how you feel in your heart and your gut. The second statement is this: the one foundational knowing on which all of my songs and videos are happily based is this: none of us on earth are exclusively human. We all are also infinite non-physical or spiritual creators, using our human bodies to create and enjoy and learn from our experiences and adventures here on earth. Thank you for listening. Later in this video, I will be telling you a dramatic personal story of how the reality of the unseen spiritual world was shown to me in a way I could not deny or ignore. And at the end, you can listen to my song that fits right into this theme. To start with, spirituality seems foreign and confusing to many people, but actually it's just a word we made up to try to get a grip on the part of life that our hearts know is real, but that our logical minds simply cannot grok or even accept. Many people think spirituality is all about getting free of worries and from the nonstop shattering of our monkey minds. Some of us think to be spiritual is to be out of touch with reality, to be in woo-woo land. Others see spiritually minded people as being weird or self-righteous, too good for the rest of us. And you know what? That's okay. I understand that because until I was dramatically shown some spiritual realities, I simply could not grok it either. Of course, there are plenty of people who are self-righteous, and they're usually the ones caught up in an organized religion that teaches there's only one way to God and it's their way or the highway. But religion and spirituality are two opposite ways of living. The word religion comes from the Latin word religare, which means to bind again. To be religious is to be bound and restricted by rules and rituals that in reality lead nowhere except maybe to a temporary emotional high. The big difference between the two concepts is that religion puts one in a box of limitations, while spirituality gives us wings to soar above it all, like an eagle, so we can enjoy the grander view of everything as one magnificent and beautiful creation. Here's something to remember while we're soaring. Eagles also have to land on Earth to take care of the practical parts of their lives, like eating and sleeping and their offspring. So to be spiritual always includes living in the physical realities that keep us alive in our bodies, so our souls can create the experiences and dramas that help them grow. It's just that by living from our hearts, we are able to live our lives much more peacefully because we're much less burdened by negative thoughts and emotions. For a long time, the Eastern religions like Hinduism and Buddhism have taught their form of spirituality, which has certainly served to enhance lives and helped people accept their personal and cultural stories in passive ways. For millennia, those teachings have helped whole populations gain some stability and inner peace, while living in abject poverty under severe governmental domination. I say thank you to life for those teachings. They have served their purpose well, and now the time has come for humanity to grow up into the fullness of our true spirituality by accepting, embracing, and living as who we have always been. That is, as individual expressions of the infinite prime creator living life in, as, and through us personally and collectively. Okay, now let's explore ego. What is it? Ego is just our personal story that we identify with. We think we are our story. Our ego lives in our memories, located in our brain, and even in our body's cells. Our stories are made up of the experiences during this lifetime and many past lifetimes as well. But we are infinitely more than the experiences and dramas we've created because, after all, we are the ones who created them. We are the creators. As an important side note, I would be remiss if I didn't say that to be a complete and fully functioning person, we must use our minds and hearts together. It's important that we include every natural faculty we have to maintain our integrity and use our intelligence to manage our personal relationships. Our ego is desperate to keep us to itself. It wants to be the boss. Ego tries to make us think we are only a physical being because that's all it knows. We created our egos out of our past experiences, and those are almost always based only on the physical world. We can grow spiritually, though, by using our egoic experiences from our past and the wisdom we've gained from them. Our ego is a valuable part of our minds because it helps us navigate this world and stay safe. Our ego is a necessary thing, but it's easier if we leave it behind when we're wanting to grow spiritually because identifying with our ego can cripple our spiritual growth. Transcending the ego while also using its limited knowledge is part of our spiritual process. We don't want to throw the baby out with bathwater, though. What we're creating is a relationship between our ego mind and our heart. We want our egos to be in service to our hearts while we're focusing our energies and awareness on the real things in life. Our minds are like scared, starving animals, always wanting to know and learn so they can feel safe and powerful. Our hearts silently smile because they already know it all. Here's something scientific you may not already know about our physical hearts. The people at the Heart Math Institute have proved that the energy field from our physical heart is 100 times more powerful than the field generated by our brains. Our physical heart also contains a network of about 40,000 neurons, giving it the ability to function as a sensory organ and as an independent information processing center that can learn, remember, and make decisions. There's a logical reason for all that, you know. The reason is that our physical heart is located close to our spiritual heart, our true essence. They actually collaborate to help us live our lives happily. Here's something most people haven't noticed. When we put our arms straight out horizontally to our sides, our body forms a cross. The cross is a famous symbol that represents the esoteric design of our physical bodies. The sword and the stone and the cross of Jesus are the famous examples of this. The sword of truth is also a symbol which represents the power of truth to vanquish deception. Our bodies also represent the power of truth in this world. Now here's that dramatic story I promised you. When I was 25, I joined a small group of people who were living together in a large house. They were very interested in spirituality as a way of life. When I first arrived, I was not aware of how unusual their ideas about spirituality were. They were encountering unseen dimensional entities in physical ways, such as pinching, hitting, dizziness, severe headaches, unexplained pains in the body, and so on. They were also often wrestling with emotions like anger or confusion or unexpected sexual desire that came out of nowhere and ambushed them without warning. Of course, me being a newbie, I deeply doubted the reality of their experiences. Then one day, I was alone walking down a hallway in the home when suddenly, out of nowhere, I was hit hard in both of my temples simultaneously by what felt like two rubber hammers. Wham! I ended up on the floor, and needless to say, from that day on, I was utterly convinced of the reality of the unseen world all around us. The rest of this story is too long for this video, but if my soul directs me, I will create a new video with the rest of the story for whatever value it may have for people. Suffice to say for now that I know the unseen spiritual realms are real and they have a direct effect on you and me. What we're exploring here today, though, are ways to be more spiritual without needing the practices given to us for so long by the Eastern and New Age religions. The easiest and most natural way to begin is by simply accepting that we are so much greater than the person we've always assumed we are. It really is that easy. I know it can be scary because if we aren't who we thought we've always been, then who are we? If I don't have my story, what is there to hang on to? Where do we go from here? The answer is easy. We go home, to where we've always been, to our hearts. The treasure we are lives here in serene peace and joy. Now, we can finally get down to the nitty-gritty. What is spirituality? What does it mean to be spiritual? It means we are aware of more than our physical body and more than the physical world around us. It means we accept that there's more to us and to the world than we can experience with our physical senses. It means we begin to realize, to make real, that we are infinitely bigger and more powerful than we have ever been told or allowed to remember. It means we live our lives from a grander perspective, from a higher location on the mountain, which gives us a broader view and an accurate understanding of any drama or experience or adventure. Being spiritual means we relate to everything from a broader and deeper level because we become more able to discern the essence and reasons and motivations of people around us. Inside the spiritual point of view is the only peaceful and steady place to stand while we're experiencing and creating our lives. When we consciously choose to be spiritual, our power of intention becomes more important than ever before. We must take charge of our awareness and use our intention to practice actually living it, actually living each moment more fully as who we really are. We must take charge of our awareness and use our intention to practice actually living it, actually living each moment more fully as who we really are. I repeated that on purpose. One effective way to get to our hearts in this noisy world is to meditate. There can be a lot of ritual and serious striving involved with meditation, but I find those absolutely unnecessary. For me, the easiest way to get in touch with my heart when meditating is to simply let go of trying to control my mind. I just let it chatter because I know it can't help itself. I move my attention from it to my body. Then I focus my attention on the area inside of my body, just above my physical heart, and I hold it there. Located right here is my home, my greater self, my presence. This practice is exactly that, an intentional practice that I have to strongly will. It's a very good way to strengthen my will. Another effective practice is to let the mind tell us, one item at a time, everything that we must do, and then write it down, each item, in a list. Keep asking the mind what else it can think of, then write it down, and keep going until the mind stops giving things to do. It seems like once the mind is feeling safe that all of our tasks will be done, it shuts up for a while so we can meditate quietly. When I sit in meditation, it's for only one purpose: to commune with my greater self, to feel my presence as who I am, as a living, energetic power here, inside of my body. I sometimes think I'm just making it's all up, and that maybe it's not real. Then I remember we're all making all of this up with our imaginations, and I ask myself, who is it that's making this all up? Then I come right back to the knowing that I am the one presence in this whole production, the one director making it all happen. When we actually get in touch with our real self here in our bodies, the contact is undeniable, deep, grounding, and powerfully visceral. The more we consciously go here, asking for more, the greater the reality of ourself becomes. Living becomes more and more centered around the heart, and it begins to completely transform everything we are, do, and perceive. What a wonderful way to live. Here's another way to meditate. It's to put our attention on our hearts and hold it there when we're just walking around the house or whatever we're doing except driving. Why would I do that? Well, it's because I can really feel the peace and joy of my being here. So when something negative or positive suddenly comes up, it's easier to automatically respond from my heart instead of reacting from my mind. The purpose of all this, and the most important reason to live consciously as a spiritual person, is to flood this planet with love. Love is unity, and unity is oneness, the only true power constantly creating and holding the whole universe together. For me, this is the most satisfying way to live my days. Always consciously aware and connected to my calm lover here within. It's like walking alone through a majestic grove of ancient redwoods with the sun's warmth on my face all the time. My inner silence and vibrant presence are far beyond words. When we are spiritually aware, our compassion shines and our judgments of others stop, because we know we are all one being, the source of all that is. And we remember we're all doing the best we can with the information we have in this moment. Of course, the obvious reason we have compassion is because we have experienced the same dramas, pains, challenges, and emotions common to everyone on earth. We know what it's like to hurt, and that usually makes us more gentle and kind and understanding toward others. For all of this time on earth, most of humanity has sensed that there just has to be more to life than we know. That's why, under it all, life has so often seemed so purposeless and meaningless. We are the purpose and the meaning. Through our adventures and our experiences and our dramas here, we are growing our souls in wisdom and power. We are serving our souls. That's our purpose. When our soul wants to grow by wrestling with the human emotion called sad, it leads us into situations that can make us feel that emotion. Human emotions are the soul's playground and teachers. They grow by experiencing how they relate to every part of life on earth. That's the way they grow, in their own self-knowledge and self-appreciation. So when we wonder why something good or bad just seems to happen to us, that's why. And because our souls are one with the Prime Creator, we and they are serving the Prime Creator. We're all one big, happy family. Are you beginning to grok how easy it is to be spiritual? I know I'm getting it more and more every day. If you want to develop a deeper understanding of this earthly reality, I think you'll enjoy this video here. If you're interested in why you can stop questioning your own sanity, this is a good one to watch. Thank you for being with me today. I hope you live in the joy and peace in your heart from now on. Have fun living life. The song for today is Be Still.
You pursue forgotten answers with your human mind. Take a moment in the silence, let yourself unwind. Deep within you lie the answers, been there all the time. Come, remember plans divine, their rhythm and their rhyme. Be still. For I am here. Be still. Let go of fear. Now hear your heart's desire. Then follow as it shows you what is true. Your plan divine that shines in you. Be still, for I am here. Be still, let go of fear. Now hear your heart's desire, and follow as it shows you what is true. Your plan divine that shines